That price seems too low. Good afternoon. So I saw this article out of the Mercury News in California. It said a sponsored article, and I didn't really understand it. Let me just share it with you because I thought it was fascinating. So the question is it says an underpricing, overbidding home problem. Shouldn't the property listings be based on facts? And I'm like, yes. Aren't they based on facts? And so then I was seeing it. It said sponsored content, and I was like, what does that mean? And so then I looked at the Mercury because I was like, is the Mercury News real? And it is. You can see that. So what this agent has done is put their, somehow paid to get their uh, content in the newspaper, which I think is brilliant. I might try someday. So you can see it's written by this fellow or woman, I don't know for sure, but then it's down here. So he's like doing an advice column that he's paying for, or she. So I just wanted you to see that first, and then we'll go over the questions because I thought this was very well done. This is something only a real estate agent would be able to like put together in this way. So let's go over it. The question is real estate agents in our neighborhood are pricing properties hundreds of thousands of dollars below comparable sales. We live in an expensive enclave of suburban houses known for good schools. The able seller's agent we hired to be our listing broker competently priced our home for sale. In need of updating, the property is on a busy street that feeds the neighborhood, and the price reflects this inescapable fact. After our house went up for sale, three remodeled homes in the neighborhood's interior came on the market at or below our list price. My husband is apoplectic. We priced our home based on facts. We learned properties priced strikingly low is a rare but deliberate tactic. The goal in our area is that the seller's agents can later boast that they sold a property for $250,000 to $350,000 or more over list price after receiving a ridiculously high number of offers. In the meantime, our listing, not selling, appears to be overpriced based on the condition and location. Is dramatically underpricing homes by 5 to 10% based on comparable sales considered an acceptable behavior by your trade association and the state real estate department? I'm not going to get into the answer because the answer isn't the way I would answer it. But I do want to go over the article because again, the way it's written is very well done. So let's just talk about that for a second. So if you see this article, okay, and the way it's written saying that it's an expensive home in a in a suburban area with good schools, like you automatically associate the listing with this agent, or I do at least. And then on top of it, you write in the article that it's the able seller's agent we hired. Well, this guy here or girl seems to be a good agent, right? They're able. It's very well done. Like, honestly, real estate advertising isn't all that exciting. I mean, it's pretty bland. Call me for a free home evaluation tends to come out way too much. This person really did a good job. So let's get into it. I'm gonna shift things like this, and let's just talk about some of the things that are in there. So my first thought is it's a house in need of updating, and the home buyers today care more about how a home looks than good bones. For the most part, I constantly have to counsel my buyers that there can be some great deals on houses that need cosmetic upgrades. We talked about something on our live stream the other day about a home stager told a lady that had all wood trim and molding in her house to paint it white and paint the walls gray. Why is that? Well, it looks good on pictures. When you go see it in person, you might have a different impression of it, but when you see it in pictures, that look just pops. Makes people want to buy it, or makes people want to go to it. And similarly, like if you see a house with carpet in the bathroom, that's just disgusting. Okay, but I mean, if you fix it, if you change it, put tile down, it might be a great bathroom. You might be able to paint the cabinets, and it might look really good. So that's the problem, is a lot of people either don't want to take any initiative and do any repairs or any improvements to their home before they sell it, and they end up getting hurt by that. So, you know, that's what I see. Now, a quote in the question says, "After our house went up for sale, 3 remodeled homes in the neighborhood's interior came on the market at or below list price." That is not a practice I see here in St. Louis at this time. So I usually see houses that are completely remodeled priced at much higher than what the current comparable sales would indicate for the most part. So, like, let's just say a neighborhood, the average on a good house is like 300,000. Okay. If someone's come in with a fix and flip, they may come in at 400 to start. They don't mess around with like what a house has gone for. They're totally going for a higher number. Now, when you're a real estate agent versus an investor, it's two different things. The investor's trying to get the most amount of money for their house. The seller's trying to get the most amount of money for their house if they're not a real estate investor. The real estate agent is in the position where they are trying not to get fired for listing a house too high and not getting it sold. So there's like a fear there. You know, if that same agent that was listing just a normal house that wasn't a fix and flip dared go up to 400,000, they know it's not going to sell because the house isn't remodeled. The fix and flip guys are so good at what they do. They have everything down perfectly, and your house probably isn't going to be like that. And so it's like I said, it's not a practice that I see in St. Louis. And there is a hesitancy on agents' parts to list something for a ridiculous price and then get fired because the house doesn't sell. Number 3, we priced our home based on facts. That's a tough statement. I don't live in a world where facts are always agreed upon. Just think of it in real estate. If a house listed for 100,000 and it sells for 100,000, is the house worth 100,000? The house sold for 100,000. That's a fact. I've been pretty surprised over the course of my career how dynamic home prices really are. If you don't have a home that checks certain boxes, you'll certainly get less than one that does. And the penalty seems to be magnified on both sides as well. Those houses that are undesired get much lower prices on average, and those homes that are truly desired are usually getting much higher prices than average. It's really something to see. You wouldn't think. People will ask me, you know, "Hey John, what do you think this house will go for?" And I look at the comps, and I'll give them a number, and then, you know, they won't list their house for another year after that, and then they ask me the price then, and it's like it's a totally different number because we always have new data entering the market. I wanted to mention that there's a huge inherent bias that comes with trying to sell your home. Because you bought it, you automatically think that your house is worth a lot. After all, it was your decision and you never make mistakes. I experience this quite often when I list homes for estates. The sellers, of course, want to sell the house, but they tend to see the house for what it is. Unless it is their beloved childhood home, then they always want more, and it's based more on sentimental factors than any sort of market pricing. Another quote from the question is, "We learned that properties priced strikingly low is a rare but deliberate tactic. The goal in our area is that sellers' agents can later boast that they sold a property $250,000 to $350,000 or more over list price after receiving ridiculously high number of offers." This is something that I've seen in St. Louis that has been relatively new in the past 5 years, and I think it's mostly spurred by the giant listing portals like Realtor.com and Zillow, as well as competitors have come up with a metric that basically says, how much did this agent get over asking on average? And then when you can say to prospective clients that you always get over asking, who doesn't want to list with a real estate agent who is consistently getting over asking prices? You see, it's a game, and it says a lot about your agent that they aren't particularly playing that one. So I don't want to play it either. I know I will lose out to listing agents that do play that game though. So if I get stuck in a situation where a seller is very data oriented, these types of people will always get tricked by this person that always gets overselling or over asking price. It's just in their nature. I mean, they're also going to play the game, the days on market trick. So if you can get a house sold faster, that's a good thing. No one disagrees with that. But my own brokerage, I'll take listings that are dog listings all the time. And it may take 30 days to sell a house because that's how bad the house is. You know, and it may not sell over it. Even if I priced it super low, it's still going to take a special buyer to buy that property. So that's just the way I see it. Now, another question in the article says, is dramatically underpricing homes by 5 to 10% based on comparable sales considered acceptable behavior by your trade associations and the state real estate department? Now, I thought about this, and we try to be ethical as real estate agents, or at least we talk about it. And as listing agents, our job is to get the most amount of money possible for our seller. If this particular listing strategy is the one that does that, then that's what we should do. I don't like the strategy. I think that it ultimately hurts buyers. I saw this with my own eyes in a house here in Fenton over the weekend. An agent priced a property at least $35,000 to $40,000 below what the house was worth. This caused a massive stampede to the house, and there were over 30 offers. Here's what I didn't like about the particular strategy at this time. There were a lot of buyers who had no chance to buy the house because it was going to sell for way more than what they could afford. You basically wasted those people and their agent's time. The eventual winner isn't really a winner at all. They got the house, but the demand created by the practice has someone in a situation where they will likely be in an awful position to sell anytime soon. Maybe it doesn't matter, but life happens and sometimes a sale needs to be made. Another thing is you create a mania for buyers. Now, every time they go to a house, they think that they have to bid X amount over asking just to have a chance. This happens to houses that aren't even priced incorrectly, which further drives up the prices of those as well. So that being said, do you want a government or professional board policies to determine the listing strategies for your home? Wouldn't you rather run the risk of success or failure based on your agent's expertise than with a board or government entity telling you what you can list your house for? And I fall in that camp. I mean, this practice stinks. Sometimes it's effective. Sometimes it's not. It's more fun when somebody misses on the price and now they have to pull the listing and the agent looks silly. So I kind of like when that happens. Doesn't happen much in this market, though, I have to be honest. That's what I have for you today. I thought it was a very interesting, we'll call it an article. But I thought it was an interesting way for an agent to market, an interesting way for an agent to express something that you're not going to see on national sites, because it's not something that many people are going to struggle with. As an agent, you're struggling with getting clients, okay? And any way you can demonstrate some sort of expertise or some sort of understanding about a situation that isn't being covered by the national media, you put yourself in a great position. So I applaud everyone all the way around for that particular marketing campaign. I might have to pull that out someday in my own. For those of you watching, thank you. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.